What's banging YouTube? It's the OG Bloodshot Red coming back at you with another one. And for everybody that's first time, seeing me on screen, seeing me on the videos, y'all want to know my backstory. I just ask you to go back, man, and check out my previous videos. I got 3 videos out right now. And they kind of put you up to speed on who I am and a little bit about my struggles and things. But right now, what I want to talk about is just, as a prisoner, how we don't really understand or see how selfish we become in prison. And I was talking to a friend of mine who's still incarcerated, fighting for his freedom, wrongfully convicted, been fighting for his freedom for 28, 29 years. And we were just talking and stuff, and it hit me when I first got out and, started getting all these responsibilities and getting married and, things like that, about just how selfish I was on the inside. And that's what I want to talk to y'all about right now, about, just my experience with that and the realization when it hit me and how it came to me. One thing that y'all might not know is over the whole 30-year stretch that I did in Texas Department of Criminal Justice, I never, not one time, had a physical contact visit with my mother or my son or with anybody for that matter. And it was due to my own ignorance, my own selfishness, just, my own rebellious mentality. My mom would drive hundreds of miles to come see me, round trip, and would have to see me through a glass partition. She would have to watch me be escorted out by 2 correctional officers, my hands handcuffed behind my back. She watched them lead me into this little booth. I'd have to turn around and stick my hands out the slot and they take the handcuffs off of me. And me and my mom would go through our little ritual, placing our hands on the glass. And that was as much as contact that we would have. And we would sit there for, a little hour, 2-hour visit, and we would talk. And I can honestly say, as a mature individual right now who, sees things that I didn't see at that time, how selfish I was. In prison, man, we think about ourselves all the time. We think about, woe is me. I'm in prison. If we haven't came to the conclusion and came to terms with the fact that we committed these crimes and that, we freely chose to do these crimes, we blame everybody else. When I first went in, man, I blamed the judge. I blamed my attorney. I blamed everybody, and to see my mom sit across from me and watch me, go through that, just being handled like I was, just a madman. It never dawned on me the effect that it had on her. Seeing her youngest child, who she carried for like 9 months, fed and nurtured, taught me right from wrong, to see me, in that type of situation. That never occurred to me, I never ever considered the effects. I never thought about how she dealt with it driving home. I never thought about, when she was at home in bed alone, if she cried, if she missed her son. But when I went into prison, there was no telephones. So we had to wait, either between visits or we had to wait in between letters. And I never thought one time of how she felt, not knowing if I was alive, not knowing if I was dead. I'd write my letters and, man, Mom, can you send me some money? Man, it's hard down here, man. We starving, man. They starving us, and she'd scrape her pennies together and she'd send it to me. And I never, ever thought about bills that had to be paid, car notes that had to be paid. I never thought about any of that. I just knew what I wanted and what I needed. And when my son started to come visit me, he was 7 years old when he first saw me. And the first time he saw me, I was in handcuffs, being escorted out into a visitation booth where he could not touch me. And I never thought about him and the negative effects him seeing me like this had on him. It was just all about me. I would talk to him and just, visit with him and stuff. But all I thought about was myself, and when I was getting ready to get out, when I was getting ready to get out of prison, man, a harsh reality hit me. One right before I got out, and one when I did get out. Now, the one right before I got out, I had paroled on 3 sentences. If y'all watch my channel before, y'all know I made parole on a life, then I made parole on a 10, and then the 25. And I got what was called an FI6. And FI6 is when you transfer to a pre-release for 6 months. But I had to wait almost a year before I was ever transferred to that particular facility. And so, knowing that I was about to get out, I was trying to get in contact with my son. I was trying to find out where he was. He's a grown man. I was trying to find out where he was. I was writing letters and this and that. I wasn't getting any responses from anybody. And so I happened to just find somebody that knew what was going on. And I was like a month from going home. I was at the facility by the time I found out where he was at, and it crushed me. It crushed me. All those years that I was in prison, my son would ask me, "Man, Pops, when you coming home, man? When you getting out, Pops? Man, Pops, I just want to be with you, Pops, man. Man, I just want you home." And I would always tell him, "Man, I don't know. I ain't gonna lie to you. I don't know when I'm coming home." And all those years passed, man. The same questions, man, asking me. Here it is, 2023. I'm about to go home. I'm at a pre-release. About a month or so left. Man, I get a letter in the mail. My son was in prison. He was at a transfer facility. He had aggravated 16-year sentence. And understand, man, I ain't never touched my son. Never. I've never had physical contact with my son whatsoever. Seen him through glass from the age of 7 to maybe about 10, and never seen him again. We wrote, periodically, because he was living his life out there, And my next thing that kind of dawned on me was when I was actually released. I was released June 14, 2023. 4 days after that, my brother, who had been caring for my mom, I talked to him periodically on the phone, and he tell me that she was in an assisted living facility and that she was doing real good, So it kind of made me feel a little at ease about it. But 4 days after I was out, he brought my mom by, and man, my mom didn't even know who I was. Man, she was so ate up with dementia and Alzheimer's, she didn't even know me. I spent all them years in prison, man, thinking about me and never thinking about my mom. And when I was finally standing in front of her, she didn't even know who I was. She just kept asking me, who was I? And I would tell her my name. And for a minute, you'd see a moment of recognition. And she might smile. And then it was gone. And she just would ramble and talk about things. And man, it broke me. It broke me, man. I don't know when it started to take place. I don't know how long she had it, because me and my brother weren't really, corresponding like that until like at the end of my time. But that was one of the hardest things, for me to deal with. And that's what really kind of made me realize how selfish I had been, having my mom drive all those miles to come see me and not even be able to touch me and hug me. And when she was finally able to hug me, she didn't even know who I was. My son, seeing his pops, handcuffed, in prison, first time. Only way he's ever seen me is in prison. He never seen me in the free world. And then for him to follow in my footsteps and come to prison with an aggravated 16-year sentence, and I mean, it's hard. Prison is hard. Prison is hard. I'm not gonna lie. But at the end of the day, we have to come to the terms as a prisoner, as a criminal, that we made the decisions that put us in here, and don't nobody really owe us nothing. As a mom pretty much gonna do what she can. As a father gonna do pretty much what he can, but they don't owe us nothing. And that's a hard pill to swallow for a person in prison. But if he's honest with himself That's the conclusion that he's going to come with. I put myself in here by the decisions that I made. My family don't owe me nothing. You know, they don't owe me no money. They don't owe me no visits. They don't owe me nothing. You know, but the love that they have for us, man, you know, they do those things for us. And I just wanted to talk about that today because it's been kind of heavy on my mind and on my heart. You know, I can't even see my mom's, man, because I can't stand to see her like that. I seen her that one time, and I can't stand to see her like that, man. I don't want to remember my mom's like that. You know, I remember my mom's being, you know, a go-getter, you know, strong black woman, you know, raising 2 kids by herself. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, and to see her like that now, it's just, it's not a comfortable feeling for me, you know. And I don't know, maybe I'm still being selfish. I don't know. But I know at this particular time, I can't see her like that, you know. And I was telling my partner over the phone, and we was talking about this, you know, and he understood where I was coming from, because in there ain't nobody talking about that. In prison, ain't nobody talking about that. Everybody trying to go to their window, get their commissary. You know, everybody trying to, you know, get them visits. You know, they got phones now. Everybody wants you to, you know, accept their phone call whenever they call, you know, no matter what. I don't care if you at work, man, answer my phone call, man. You know, dudes with girls that stand down with them, you know, wives and stuff, man, you know, man, why you ain't sending money? Man, I told you to send that money, man. I want, man, send my money, man. When you gonna come down here? I ain't seen you. You need to come down here. And it's just that selfish mentality that actually pushes our family away from us, you know, because out here, you know, I see now, man, we got bills, we got mortgages, we got car notes, we got, you know, groceries you got to buy, and just all those different things, man. And it just kind of had dawned on me that I wanted to just share that with people, because I know people got pretty much now, man, almost everybody know somebody in prison, has a relative in prison, or been to prison. You know, I mean, Bill Clinton's brother was in prison. Martha Stewart went to prison, you know. I mean, so this right here could probably, you know, it might touch some of you out there, you know, with a loved one in prison, you know, and just, you know, kind of break it down to them and just be honest with them, you know, and let them know I'm gonna do what I can for you, but I don't owe you nothing. Can't demand nothing, you know, but I'm gonna do what I can for you. You know, if it ain't nothing but accepting a phone call and talking to you for 30 minutes, I'll do that. But I mean, I got things out here I got to take care of, and you got things in there that you got to take care of. You chose that, you know, and I can honestly say that, you know, that's what we did. We chose that, man. So, you know, I just wanted to come at y'all with a little short one like that, man. I hope y'all hit that like, hit that subscribe, that notification bell, man, and come back with another one, man. Peace out. What's banging?